Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another review. I'm very excited to talk about this movie today. The reason being was that I was fortunate enough to be an extra in this movie that I'm about to talk about, and that is Jeff Nichols' new sort of 60s period biker piece, The Bikeriders, starring Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, and Jodie Comer. I was lucky to see it early, and I have a lot to talk about actually of the experience and my thoughts on the movie as a whole. Firstly, I just want to start off by saying it was an insane experience. It was my first time ever seeing like how a set worked. So that was really cool. Watching like a really prime director just enjoying his craft, loving what they're doing. Everybody involved. It was just a very happy time. It was a really good time. Everyone was happy. It was just cool to watch. It's cool to see movies play out right in front of your face. So being able to watch this and be a part of it in a little way was really cool to see. And I hope if you ever have the chance and see there's like extra work even for TV shows or movies or wherever you're at, do it. It's so fun. They pay you to do it and you just get to watch cool actors kind of do stuff all day, which is another bonus. Now for my thoughts on the movie. This movie is fine. Yes, it is just fine. I unfortunately was not very enthralled by this motion picture, this film in particular. And it's really hard for me to say that because I was really excited for this. I was very, very, very excited for this movie. It was one of my most anticipated, obviously just because, I got to be a part of it in a little way, so that has a little bias, but also just because of the people involved. Like, I love Jeff Nichols' movies. I love Mud especially. I think he's a really talented director, and I will get into that in a minute with the technical aspects. But unfortunately, this is for sure my least favorite one of his films out of his filmography. He hasn't made a movie in about eight or 9 years. His last movie being Loving, I believe, which came out in 2016 or 15. And it's you can kind of tell that he hasn't been in the director's chair or like the movie sphere maybe in a minute. That's very prevalent on screen through the execution and through mostly just the story and script. That is the biggest crux to this movie, is that it's story. It is told in the interview style format that you've seen in a lot of Scorsese movies. That's what I've read in a lot of reviews for this, is that kind of it's an homage to a Scorsese movie, or a riff on what a Scorsese movie is. It does the interviews and flashback sort of narrative that he is known for and is very good at. However, in the context of this movie, the interviewing with the flashbacks doesn't really work for me, and I think it doesn't have the emotional payoff that I believe they were trying to achieve. It just feels flat. Everyone here does a fine job performance-wise. Nothing stand out, nothing awful. It's just perfectly fine. So, I mean, it really is just one of those things that where you have everyone involved on paper, this would seem awesome, but the story is so lackluster that it doesn't help if all the other technical aspects such as cinematography, the editing, and the directing were all great. It's an incredibly great looking movie. On a technical level, again, gorgeous. This movie is gorgeous, which is why it's so unfortunate that the script bogs it down this much. It just, to me, I didn't see where it went. I didn't really understand like the point of the journey we went on. And I'm wondering if other people are going to feel the same way as me, or maybe I'm just missing something and need to rewatch this. But honestly, I just think for what the first hour sets up, and I was really vibing with the first hour. I was like, yeah, I can get behind these guys. This is cool. I like the story. I like what they're at here. It's like a brotherhood. And then by the time you get to that hour mark for the last hour of what you think is going to be like this big sort of payoff, and like how this club changes and how that affects the people around them, it sort of just meanders. until the end of the club and the stuff that I was waiting to happen, I didn't necessarily get to see, which is interesting. It feels like an origin story for the actual club that was marketed and put in the trailers as this like motorcycle casual motorcycle club turned like gang where they like kill people, do stuff for money, drugs, all that good jazz. I thought that was going to be a main fixture of this movie, and it's really not. It's way more character driven, which isn't a bad thing, but when it's character driven and the story is this sort of stale and bare bones and average, it doesn't really help if the characters aren't after a while just kind of fun to watch. You're just kind of waiting to see what happens to them, and in the end, when we see the end for our main trio, it left me feeling confused. Like, what did I just sit through all this for? If that's how, it's just one of those things. So, yeah, I hope more people, have fun with the Bikeriders. I maybe just being a little overcritical, but I just wanted to be honest, and it's unfortunate that I feel this way, but that's just how it is, and sometimes I can't really be all that pleased with every movie I watch, especially for ones that I am anticipating and had been waiting for. But again, that's life. So the Bikeriders comes out this weekend, June 21st. If you have seen it already, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. If you plan to go see it this weekend, I would love to know that as well. I would love to see what the kind of range is on. This really hasn't been marketed that much since December or January when it was originally supposed to come out, which is another thing that is interesting to me, is that Disney originally owned this film and then dropped it. So that's another reason why I'm adding to my thoughts of, this makes a lot of sense why certain things happened with this movie. But again, I hope everyone that goes to see it in theaters this weekend maybe hopefully likes it more than me. And if you agree with me, again, I would love to know. If you want to see other reviews of mine more in depth, you can follow my Letterboxd. I have my Twitter and my Instagram will all be in the description below. I do many reviews. I do my full stuff on Letterboxd. It's a fun time. So if you want to give me a follow down there, I would appreciate it. And I hope everyone that's watching this has a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, or night. And take care.